Thank you. Good morning. My name is Oscar Robles. I'm executive director of LACNIC, and I have a few topics to present to you. Those are related with the activities that we do. Number one and number two are what we do, and number three and number four is how we do it. So the first one is related with the registry activities. And the second one with our interest to support a stable, resilient, and robust internet. Number three and four is that how we believe in the bottom-up participative process of development policies. And the number four, how much effort we put in the process and repeatable process to fulfill our mission. So regarding resource management, most of the information related to the registry already was presented by Leslie in the jointly report. So I'm just going to focus on the membership evolution. As you can see, membership is still growing, almost 20% yearly. In the last year, almost 1,000 new members, mainly driven by the micro and small allocations, which is the this 60% of the allocations are, of the membership is are the small and the small micro, the smallest membership that we have, which is a /22 requirement. As you know, LACNIC entered in February the third phase, which is the fourth phase. It's the number 3, but we started in 0, so that's the number 4, which is kind of complex. Anyway, the phase 2 finished in February, and we started in the 15th of February. The phase 3, which prevents allocations to current members. So there's no more space available for our 6,000 members at this moment. So all the allocations could be /22, and that's only for new entrants. The pool size is /10, and we expect to have this phase for the next years, depending on the consumption rates, from 5 to 10 years, if there's no other special allocation for specific activities. Regarding the LACNIC Board of Directors, we every year have elections. Latest elections, there were 2 positions to be renewed. That was for Barner Maya from Brazil and Javier Salazar from Mexico. And both were eligible for re-election, and they were re-elected. Maya was reappointed as LACNIC chairman of the board for the second year. He's from Brazil. As part of our activities to support and to improve the security, stability, and resiliency in the internet, not only the region but everywhere, we are working together with the NRO coordination group, engineering coordination group, to align the trust anchors. We're still doing some RPKI outreach. It's a good level of deployment in LACNIC region. We do a good number of activities promoting IXPs. And last week it was with the Argentinian Network Operators Group, which is a very well-organized NOC in our region. Regarding DNS security and stability, we just enable a global node. It is not a node, but a node at Montevideo from the RIPE root server, and it's IPv6 enabled. And we just issue CAL to install and deploy iRoot instances in the region. We have an agreement with NetNode to promote the installation of global nodes in the region. As regarding the IPv6 deployment, as you can see in the information that is presented, more than 80% of our members already receive an IPv6 block, and half of them already are announcing the IPv6 block in its ASNs. So more than 2,000 networks are already announcing an IPv6 prefix in our region, which is a very good number. So the sad part of this is that it is only the technical side is kind of done already, but the financial one is not completely done. I mean, it doesn't make business case yet for many of them, as you can see in the Google or APNIC statistics. Only Brazil, Ecuador, and Peru has relevant rates of deployment to the IPv6 to the end user. Trinidad and Tobago recently started to do some interesting things to the end user, and a few other countries with more than 1%, but it is a very limited deployment to the end user, the IPv6 in the region. Anyway, the good part is that most of the networks are already doing interesting things and are ready for IPv6. Regarding the development of capacities in our region, we put a lot of effort in IPv6, of course, security things, IXPs, RPKI, which are the topics related to LACNIC activities. Last year, we trained more than 4,000 persons or people. We have an initiative for online courses, MOOCs, and just the first edition of the IPv6 course this year received more than 400 students. And that's a very interesting tool for us, because that allows us to massively train in technologies related to our activities. IPv6, BGP, mainly are the topics that we do in this campus LACNIC. We have some initiatives. We have one program to support initiatives in the region that try to develop the internet and make a better society in the region, and we call this initiative, this program, we call FRIDA, which is a contribution from some of from Internet Society, IDRC, and LACNIC to support digital initiatives. We have 3 different kind of awards, which are the awards, the grants, and the scale-ups. Then how we do what I just mentioned, through a participative model of development policy development process. You can see we've been successful in promoting the community involvement in our activities. This is the part related to the policy proposals, and the green bar is from 2014, the orange one is 2015, and the blue one is 2016. The one at the bottom, that's the total number of policy proposals that we received in 2014. There were 3, then 5 in 2015, and 8 in 2016. So that shows you that we've been putting many efforts to try to foster discussions in topics that are relevant for the community. In San Jose, LACNIC 26, San Jose, Costa Rica, not San Jose, California. Be careful when you book your trip for the next ARIN meeting. The proposals, let me see. Yeah, the first 3 proposals were discussed in San Jose, Costa Rica. One got consensus, The other two were sent back to the mailing list for discussion. And we have a few proposals now for the LACNIC 27 in Brazil. And among other proposals, there's one for inbound inter-RIR transfers. And we just received another one that is proposing to allocate the /23 and /24 for ISPs. I mean, micro allocations, which kind of makes sense because of the phase of the stage where we are, and that's going to be discussed in Foz do Iguaçu in next month. Regarding the inter-RIR transfers, we discussed that policy last year, and it was implemented. It was discussed in 2015 and implemented in 2016. So this is the number of transfers that we have had in the region. As you can see, it's a very small amount of transfers, and only on the /16 in all these 7 transfers. Elections in our community, we are running an election for the co-chair of the policy development process, the policy forum co-chair. We had 7 candidates. It's the first time we had that number, and it's the first time we have a woman running for co-chair in this position. The results are going to be announced next week. Also, we have a number of elections on the bodies that represent LACNIC in the NRO or the ASO, and we have these review committee members, and the members are Nicolás Antoniello from Uruguay, Edmundo Cázares from Mexico, and Ernesto Majó from Uruguay as the staff representative. But Edmundo Cázares and Nicolás Antoniello were appointed as part of the interim initial review committee members. And this May, we will hold elections for the proper election of these community representatives. And this is the link where you can see more information. We rely a lot of in community building to conduct our activities. So we try to collaborate with other organizations in the region to make some smaller events to some places where there is a very limited chances to have a bigger event. For example, last year we had a LACNIC on the move in Belize, Suriname, Honduras, and Bolivia. And this year we had one in Guatemala, jointly with the Internet Society local chapter, the Superintendencia de Telecomunicaciones, which is kind of the Ministry of Telecommunications, the Regional Internet Society for Latin America, and the ICANN Roadshow. We had like 150 participants, mainly from the local community. Another way to do what we do is to with quality and continuous improvement, and we got the recertification with the ISO 9001 2015, and we certify 3 core processes: the registry and management of number resource process, the policy development process itself, and the events organization process. We received for 5th consecutive year the award for a great place to work in Uruguay, and it's one way to see that we are doing good things in our organization internally. We have nationals from 10 different countries. 2 of them are Russia and Spain. And of course, the rest of them from LACNIC region. Women comprise 50% of LACNIC full-time employees. We redesigned last year the main page of LACNIC. with a more usable interface and able to be loaded in mobiles. We launched the LACNIC.net, which is a management tool for our members, mainly number resources, RPKI, resource certification, online payments, account invoices, and all these management things. And of course, part of most of our efforts are defined in a strategic plan. The strategic planning cycles in LACNIC varies from 3 to 4 years. The latest cycle was 2012, 2016. So we just started a new strategic planning cycle. We worked in that definition last year. We redefined the methodology. We work in the process of strategic planning, and that strategic plan was already ratified by the LACNIC board in September 2016. So we are now working in that, in those goals, in those mission, vision, and all those strategic definitions that are relevant to maintain us aligned as a group, and to remind us what we have to do if some ideas come up in the middle of this cycle. And finally, our next meeting is going to be in Brazil, Foz do Iguaçu, not in the waterfalls, but very near to these waterfalls, massive waterfalls. And that's going to be the LACNIC 27 in the 22nd to 26th of May. You can go to Brazil and then go to a ARIN meeting in Nairobi, which is close to the region as well. And the next event is going to be in LACNIC 28 in Montevideo, Uruguay, from the 18th to the 22nd of September. And we're going to celebrate the 15th anniversary of LACNIC. And that's it. Any questions? No?
Thank you, Oscar.
Okay, thank you.
One question.
One question. Tom Fantacona, IPTrading.com. I was curious why there have been so few transfers within region since the policy's been in effect a while. Do you think it's procedures difficult, or people aren't aware of it, or just not a lot of sources?
Yes, the short answer is we don't know. We try in the beginning to explain this process to through webinars, through short guides to explain these transfers. There were a few, but we exactly don't know why we have this limited number of transfers. Could be because of the requisites, the criteria, I don't know, but certainly we don't want to lower those barriers, but we're still trying to find out, to have this conversation with the community, why they think that there are so limited number of transfers.
Okay. Are there a lot of attempts at transfers that don't succeed, or just very few attempts?
Very few attempts.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Good job again.